The 2025 World Indoor Championships kicked off with an unforgettable moment in track and field history. This was supposed to be just another sprint final, until it became one of the most shocking and controversial races the sport has ever seen. The build-up was intense, the stakes were high, and what unfolded on that track left the entire athletics world in disbelief. Was this the birth of a new sprinting legend? Or a night where the doubters were proven right? Before we dive into the fireworks of the final, we need to set the stage. The 2025 World Indoor Championships had already faced heavy criticism, mainly due to the lack of star power in the men's 60-meter sprint. Many of the fastest men in the world were absent. 5 of the top 10 sprinters of 2025 had chosen to skip the event, some focusing on the NCAA circuit, others training for outdoor season, and a few simply avoiding the risk of defeat. The result? A field of rising talent, veterans with unfinished business, and one underdog who refused to be ignored. Among the new wave of challengers, one name stood out, though few believed he would. Lachlan Kennedy, a 21-year-old Australian, had stunned the world earlier in the season by running one of the fastest outdoor 60m times in history. Yet, instead of celebrating him, the track community laughed him off. Many dismissed his times as wind-assisted flukes. Others said they weren't legitimate, without indoor conditions. Even World Athletics' official win probability didn't list him as a contender. He was the world leader, yet treated like an afterthought. That was about to change. But he wasn't the only one fighting for the title. Ronnie Baker, USA, came in fresh off his national championship win and held the third fastest 60m time in history. Akani Simbine, South Africa, a 3-time Olympic finalist, looked faster than ever at 31 years old. Jeremiah Azu, UK, the reigning European champion, was widely considered the gold medal favorite. And then, out of nowhere, Puerto Rico's Eloy Bonitez announced himself with a blazing 6.49 in the heats, throwing a new name into the mix. With so much uncertainty and no clear favorite, the stage was set for a chaotic and unforgettable final. Before the final showdown, the prelims and semis gave us a taste of what was coming. Simbine cruised through his heat, winning comfortably in 6.57 seconds. But the real shocker came in Heat 4, when Bonitez exploded onto the scene with an unexpected 6.49, a time far beyond anything he'd ever run. Azu and Baker won their heats with ease, but then, in Heat 7, Kennedy stepped onto the track, and that's when everything changed.
A little twitch from Welpton, but Kennedy gets away strongly back as well. Kennedy is going to take this.
Exploding out of the blocks with a devastating start, Kennedy dominated his first ever indoor race, clocking 6.52 seconds. He was right at home. The doubters had no choice but to take notice. In the semi-finals, things heated up even more. Azu looked effortless, improving his time and reinforcing his status as a contender. Kennedy and Baker went head-to-head in a preview of what was to come. Despite a slightly slower start, Kennedy clocked an unbelievable 6.43, catapulting himself into the all-time top 10 list. The track world had to admit, this guy was legit. But was he peaking too soon? Slowing down from prelims to semis had some questioning whether he could handle multiple rounds. Meanwhile, Simbine faltered in the semis and Bonitez shocked again, outpacing Simbine to advance to the final. With times separated by just hundredths of a second, anyone could win the title. But still, nobody believed it would be Kennedy. Under the lights of the state-of-the-art arena, the crowd roared in anticipation. The finalists lined up, tension thick in the air.
It's absolutely wide open. Unknown quantity, the Puerto Rican. Azu, Baker the American, Akani Simbine. The arena explodes into noise, and there's a great start there from Azu on the left. Oh my word, I think it's Lachlan Kennedy, the Australian. Maybe it was Kennedy by a whisker, but Jeremiah Azu has been given it at 6.41
seconds. A new champion crowned. The scoreboard flashed. Azu had done it. Kennedy, the underdog who was never supposed to be here, finished just a whisker behind, losing by the narrowest of margins. But make no mistake, he had silenced the doubters. Despite not taking gold, Kennedy had earned respect. The entire track world had doubted him, but he showed up and proved his time was real. Even more significantly, his presence made the final thrilling, forcing the best to bring their A-game. Some still dismissed his performance. His loss proves he's not elite, they said. But those who knew the sport understood the truth. This was just the beginning. Kennedy wasn't an indoor specialist. He wasn't supposed to be in this final. Yet, he left with one of the fastest times in history and the respect of his peers. For Azu, this was the crowning moment of his career. Undefeated across 12 indoor races, now the undisputed fastest man of 2025 over 60 meters. But for Kennedy, this was his arrival. You don't have to win to prove you belong. This wild 60-meter final had given us more than a champion. It had given us a moment to remember. This year's World Indoor Championship saw a controversial rule change, allowing athletes to qualify using outdoor 60m performances. Many believed it was a mistake, but in the end, it made the event unforgettable. It introduced new faces, created a thrilling final, and proved that the clock doesn't lie. Sprint fans may debate the legitimacy of outdoor times, but one thing is certain. When the moment came, Kennedy was ready. He stood toe-to-toe with the best and almost won. And if that's what he can do indoors, just wait until he hits the outdoor season.